Pacific Nations Cup, folks. The first round of action was on today from Fiji. Australia A taking on Manu Samoa, and the Fijian boys at home taking on the Tongans. You can see the scores on the board. We'll go through some key events and stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how these games went. Obviously, the crowd was bigger for the second game. The first game was kind of like a curtain raiser, I suppose, because it's in Fiji. The fans want to see their Fijian team play. So when you first turn on and see Australia A versus Samoa, there's not a lot of people there. But over the course of the day, man, it fills out to like 15,000 people, which is pretty bloody good by Pacific Nations Cup standards. So good to see the Fijian fans and a few, Tongans and Samoans and Australians and whatnot getting out there as well. So kind of really pleasing stuff. Beautiful day. First game, Australia A and Manu Samoa. It's 31-26 in a game that looked like it could have been a draw at one point. It was all tied up for ages. I do think the Aussies will be a little bit frustrated with how much ball they dropped in this one. Their line-out couldn't quite get things going. The Samoan boys did get the try scoring underway with a maul first, punishing the Aussies, who were getting pinged a wee bit by old Yako Piper. And when the Aussies had a long period of pressure down their end, they really kind of failed to convert anything. So it would have been a kind of frustrating start from them. Only made worse when AUAvSAM gets his first of 2 tries, and boy did he look good in his first ever game for Samoa. He got a try out wide, and for a previous offence, Smith goes to the bin for some cynical play. Basically just too many penalties conceded. Hodge, he put a decent effort in on AUAvSAM, but he was never going to stop the boy wide. So 12 points to 0. The conversion hits the post. Not a bad start for Samoa, man. They've been able to keep the Aussies out and score a couple of good tries of their own. That being said, once the Aussies go down a man, McCright is able to hit back pretty quickly. It's kind of fortuitous. It's a wee bit lucky because, Foketi puts a little grubber through, which essentially deflects off one of the Samoan legs, and then McCright's the first guy to react. He kicks it through himself and is able to chase it down. And chasing down kicks seems to be his thing because he gets 2 tries that way. But 7 points during the yellow card. Certainly not a bad thing. But as soon as they've basically reset the game from the McCright try, Leua goes over for one. The commentators didn't like it because they thought there was a wee bit of obstruction in the build-up. But remember, there's no TMO in the Pacific Nations Cup, which I kind of like. Willie Lose was saying how he likes it kind of keep the game flowing. And I do agree with him to a degree that, having no TMO does keep the game moving, but it does mean also you're prone to missing a few howlers. It just happens. Like, we all get sick of the TMO until the TMO stops our team from getting a try scored against them where the opposition player clearly lost it over the line kind of thing, right? So it's a double-edged sword, man. The game gets moving a bit more, but you are prone to missing a few howlers. But good carry from Alatoa in the build-up. Some good distribution from the Samoan boys. And obstruction or no, the Samoans go over, so 19 points to 7 apiece in the yellow card, so actually not too bad. Australia continue to be guilty of the knock-ons and the line-out not quite operating as smoothly as you like. You can tell because they had more possession and way more territory by half-time, but they're down 19 points to 7, 64-36, the possessions, territory stats at half-time. It's crazy, but they have conceded more penalties. Second half, the Aussies have a maul error where McCright, he's a busy man. He gets pinged for being in the wrong place as they're trying to set a maul 5 meters out. So it's another easy exit for the Samoans, kind of a freebie. But they finally click, man. A couple of bang quick-fire tries. One to Lonergan. And that one was Foketi down the left wing. And nice step and then offload from the deck. Really well worked. So 19 points to 12. And then another one pretty much straight away. That one was just a hack through. And then there's nobody there. McCright's the one who chases it. Like a Lucy shouldn't be the first man to that ball, but he is. So that ties it up 19 points to 19. That's on 56 minutes. But, a soft one for the next one for the Samoans, man. From an Aussie point of view, you'd have to say. It doesn't help that the Aussie scrum I don't know, man. It seems to be under a wee bit of pressure. And as it's just kind of buckling, the ball pops out the side a little bit. Taumatene, who's just kind of fresh off the bench, he's just been told to take off his necklace because you're not allowed to wear jewellery on the field. And I guess he just forgot to take it off. You don't usually see that every day. And he grabs it, basically trots over for a try. Like really good poacher's halfback try, man. Kind of what you want to see from your halfback. So 26-19, Edmed kicks the restart out on the full. It looks like it's going to go to Custard for the Aussies, but then Peach, who's come off the bench, he's got some speed down the left wing. He's able to set up a try. Tuttle's able to kind of finish it. He's not long off the bench. So with only a few minutes to go, because Peach's one is on, or Tuttle one, on the 77th minute, it's 26 points apiece. But wouldn't you know it, man? From the restart, the Aussies trying to run it out of their half, and Foketi throws an intercept pass. I mean, Awong does well to gather it one-handed, but essentially he throws an intercept pass to Awong, who takes it. Really silky skills for his first game for Samoa, and 31-26 it ends. So, I mean, the possession stats kind of even out, 49-51. The Aussies edged the territory 56-44, but it would have been more even in the second half because, remember, it was pretty lopsided in the first. So, penalties conceded 9-7. The Australians concede more. So, yeah, if you're Australia A, you'd be a bit concerned with some of the soft tries that were conceded, and they might be blaming the ref for the Leua one. But yeah, the scrum for the Taumatene one was a little bit lackluster, and the soft pass for the Wong one, I suppose. And I guess equally the Samoans, man, like you shouldn't be conceding the second McWright try as well. So I guess it's kind of a bit of first game rust from both sides. So I expect them both to get better, but it was overall a really good watch. A few people have asked about the broadcasters. I think in most territories it was live streamed on World Rugby's website. Not on their YouTube channel, unfortunately, but on their actual World Rugby website. Whereas us in Australia and New Zealand, it was on Sky here for me, and I believe it was on Stan in Australia. So, check it out. Second game, 36-0. I don't think nil is a fair representation of the Tongan contribution to this game, but you got to give it to the Fijians. Man, are they clinical. They are so clinical. Big crowd, like I mentioned, by the time this game gets on. And the Fijians come out of the blocks pretty smartly. I mean, Ratuva goes over for the first one. They're just getting over the advantage line, man. They're just so able to carry, take the contact, get the ball away, and then the next guy does the same thing. The next guy does the same thing until they're basically over the line. So 7-0 early. And then on 10 minutes, it's Nayatalevu who sets that one up. And then Waningolo is able to finish it off on that right wing. The offload from Nayatalevu was just phenomenal. I mean, he's got a hand in multiple tries in this one. 12-0 to Fiji early. Tonga, I mean, to be fair, Malakai Fixtures in his first game for Tonga, he's put his like body on the line, man. He's making carry after carry. We don't have carry stats, unfortunately, for this game. But he was really busy. Of the three guys who were kind of the top billing, Folau, Fixtures, and Piatau, I think Fixtures certainly had the most impact. But then, I mean, for all that Tongan pressure, turnover ball, and then Fiji go length of the field. Ravovo just punishes. So that was the kind of story of the game for the Tongans, unfortunately. But you got to, as I said, give credit to the Fijians, man. They're just so good. Folau did go off injured on 27 minutes. Tonga had a 5-metre scrum in Fiji's 22 from a Fijian kind of restart era. It looked like Fixtures had gone over for a try, but even with no TMO, it looked like they spotted a wee drop just over the line. One of those ones that was kind of touch and go. You would like the TMO to have a proper look at it, but they don't give the try. And Taylor gets yellow carded for something cynical. The commentator said it was chucking the ball away, but it might have been something on the ground because we didn't have a microphone for the ref either. But Tonga can't get anything out of us. That's kind of their first real try-scoring chance not given. Despite the yellow card in the 37th minute, Fiji are able to kick a penalty. It's not Tela because he's off, remember. It's Tuisuvu who kicks the penalty, so they keep the scoreboard ticking over despite the fact that they've got a man down. And man, it's a pretty brutal first half for the Tongans, man. 22-0. Tongans have had 58% possession. They've had 56% territory. They've had more than 3 minutes in the Fijian 22, and they got nothing to show for it. The Fijians have had a grand total of 59 seconds in the Tongan 22, and yet they've just gone bang, bang, bang. They don't need time because they are just clinical. Second half, the Tongans go unbelievably close again. They just can't score. Another one's chalked off for a forward pass. It's like, the second or third try they've had chalked off. AUAvSAM sets up another try. This one's Tuisuvu who manages to get the try this time. AUAvSAM's line break, man, it's just on another level. 29-0. Habosi gets one on his debut. A great one-handed offload sets that one up as well. I'd love to have the offloading stats for this game, but they don't have them. 36-0. Tonga keep fighting to the end. They keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but they just can't get over the line. It's just one of those games where Tonga could have easily, I'm not sure they would have won, but Tonga could have easily had 14, maybe 21 points. But it just wasn't to be. So yeah, credit to them for keeping on going. I think they've got a bit to build on here from here, Tonga. But Fiji certainly showed if you give them an inch, they will absolutely take you for everything you're worth, man. So congratulations to them. 36-0, good win. Their winning streak over the Tongans continues. Possession still finishes Tonga 57-43 to Fiji. Territory kind of evens out a wee bit, 52-48 still to Tonga. Again, it's time in opposition 22. Tonga's got more than 6 minutes, whereas Fiji are just over 3. So all that time, but nothing to show for it. Penalties conceded is one area of concern for Fiji, 16-8. That's one area they'll kind of have to watch. Tonga missed tackles a little bit too high, 20 to Fiji's 13. But yeah, sometimes they can be pretty hard to bring down. But yep, that's my rugby weekend. Started off with a bit of Pacific Nations Cup. You guys let me know your thoughts. What did you think of the two games? As I said, if you haven't seen them, Australia, New Zealand, Stan and Sky, and then it looks like World Rugby's website for the rest. I'm not sure if they're showing them on demand, but they certainly showed them live, so certainly worth a watch. Plenty more games on for the rest of my day, or night as it is. You guys take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.